So this is a Swift Charisma 590, just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van we've got a jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. We'll demonstrate these to you in person here on site. In the front locker we put a gas bottle in there so you can see everything is working as it should. On top of the bottle you've got your gas on off valve to turn the gas supply on. Then you've got your pipe work coming up to the bottle, and you've got your fitment that goes into the regulator itself on top here. The pipe work that goes into the front of the bottle is actually a reverse thread fitment. So you turn it the opposite way to a standard thread, for instance, to screw it into the front of the bottle. 2 gas bottle tie down, so you can carry a maximum of 2 6-kilogram propane gas bottles on board the van at any point. The bottle will come off after the handover. It's just there for demonstrating everything is working. Coming down the side of the Caravan, you've got your water pump connection. So the pump pushes into the side of the van, as you can see here. And you've got your pickup pipe that needs to be fully submerged in the water prior to turning the water pump on. On the side of the van, you've also got your heating and hot water flue, so you put the cover on and it clips in place, and that is the heating and hot water flue for the gas side of the heating systems. Down the bottom here, you've got your wind down leg to stabilise the Caravan while it's on site. They're only there for stabilising the van, not lifting the Caravan. If you lift the Caravan with these, you can potentially damage the floor of the van. You've got your mains lead that comes into the side of the Caravan from the power on site and connects straight into the side of the van. And then you've got your we put a 110 amp leisure battery on board the van just so you can see everything is working as it should. The leads going to the top of the battery require a 12mm spanner to disconnect and disconnect them from the battery itself. And the battery again has just been put on there to demonstrate everything is working. And again, that will be removed prior to the van leaving site. You've then got your 2 fridge vents. 2 fridge vents are very simply there to allow the hot air at the back of the fridge unit and to take some cool air in. Never cover these up, you always leave them open at all times. Wheels and motor mover, we'll torque the wheel nuts prior to you taking the Caravan away, and we'll also demonstrate the motor mover so you can see it is all working as it should. Going a little bit further down the side of the van, you've got your 2 grey waste pipes coming out the side of the van. 2 grey waste pipes are very simply there to allow the waste water out the side of the van. So the fresh water that goes in the front has to come out somewhere, and it will come out just down the side here. Going a bit further down the side of the van, you'll have your toilet flush tank. You'll open this up and you'll put 3.5 litres of water in here and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. And then in the bottom you have your toilet waste cassette, which you release by pulling up the yellow handle and pulling the cassette towards you. The grey neck here turns out 90 degrees so you can tip the waste away. The yellow cap is a measure for your pink and your blue fluid. And then you've got a yellow pressure relief button on the back of the cassette, so when you tip the waste away it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. In this cassette you'll need to put 1 litre of water and a cap full of the blue fluid. On the back of the van on either side, again, you've got your 2 wind down legs to stabilise the Caravan. Again, you wouldn't lift the Caravan with these, it'll potentially damage the floor of the van. 3-pin socket so you can have power out to your awning. And then coming down the front, you've got your barbecue gas point and the last of your wind down legs. Going on to the inside of the van now. First thing you need to do, in the left hand side here, as you walk in the door, in this bottom cabinet, you'll see that you have your control panels for the Caravan itself. So in this cabinet, you'll see that you've got your power switch here on the left hand side, for depending on whether you're connected to the car or whether you're on site with the Caravan. So at the moment we have it in the van position, which means Caravan, so the switch is in the down position. If you're towing down the road, you'll need to have it in the car position at the top here, and essentially that will change the battery charger and the 12-volt systems over to running from the 12-volt battery from the car, not the 12-volt battery on board the Caravan. And then at the bottom here you've got your van option, which allows you to run the 12-volt systems on board the Caravan. You've then got your 2 40-volt trip switches here. A little tip for you: if you hit the test switch here, this little switch drops down. It means you have mains power coming into the Caravan. At the bottom you've got your space heater main power switch, which you need to have on for the heating to work on board the Caravan on mains power. Your electric water heater on and off, so at the moment the water heater's on and it's warming the water up on board the Caravan. You've then got your battery charger switch. Now you do need to have this on for the battery to charge when you're towing down the road or when you're on site with the Caravan. Next thing we're going to do, now we'll check all them switches in the right position, is come underneath the seat on the front right hand side, and underneath here you will find your yellow drain down valve. Now if you've had an old style Caravan, this is basically the same as the drain on the water heater on the outside. So the yellow valve needs to be flat with the floor to fill the water system up, as this one is at the moment, or upright and pointing towards the bottom of the seat to drain the water system down. So with this valve flat with the floor, you can come over to all the taps on board the Caravan, open them all up on the hot side of the water system, and once the taps are open on the hot side of the water system, you can come in the cabinet down here on the floor and turn your water pump on. Once the water pump is turned on and the water system is full, you'll have eventually water running out of every tap on board the Caravan, as you can see here. At that point, you can shut all of the taps back off, and that is your water system full. Once you've got the water system full, I'd advise you just ignite the hob up, just so you can make sure you've got gas coming through to the Caravan with the gas turned on. As you can see, got gas coming through. Just let Might take a couple of attempts to get it to run fully, and slowly release the gas valve once it is running, as you can see. The reason I've done that for is to make sure we get gas through to every component on board the Caravan, as generally the hob is the last point on the gas system. I'll come back to that and explain a bit more about that in a moment. Now I've shown you where your electric water heating is. So on the opposite side of the Caravan here, you have two dials. You have one that says Ultra Store on it, just here, which is your gas water heating. You'll spin this outer grey dial round to the flame symbol. So this little tab is pointing toward the flame symbol. And in the centre here, you have your water temperature control. So you have between 30 and 70 degrees of water temperature. Now, if the water heater ignites on gas, you'll have a green light that stays lit in the back of here. And if it fails to ignite on gas, you'll eventually get a red light appear in here. Now, obviously, because we've got the gas bottle connected at the moment, it should ignite, and it has done. So on that note, we can actually control the water temperature between 30 and 70 degrees, and whichever number is above the green light is the temperature it is set to. To isolate the gas supply, you're going to spin it back to the off position just here. Next to that, you have your ultra heat heating, which is for the heating itself on board the Caravan. So your radiator is, or your heating system essentially, for keeping the van warm. So this is your electric power supply switch for the heating itself. You'll spin this grey dial round to 500, 1000 or 2000 watts, depending on what Caravan site you're on. Do advise, if you're not sure what to set this to, you ask the site office when you arrive on your holiday. You can then control the temperature of the heater between 1 and 9. So the higher you go, it's the more amount of elements in the heater it will warm up. So in theory, the Caravan will get warmer. Now obviously, if you've got it on the lower settings here, 500 or 1000, it will take a lot longer to warm up, and it will not be as efficient as if it's on 2000 watts. Like I said, not sure what to set it on, ask your site office when you arrive on your holiday, and they'll be able to advise you of what to set this to. Turn the heating back off, you spin it to the off position in the centre here. You've then got your heater itself. So the heater itself, very simple to use, on gas. You spin the dial round between 10 and 9, hold down the gas valve and hit the igniter. Now when it ignites on gas, eventually you'll have a pilot light in this window down the front of the heater. It does take a couple of tries. So after a couple of attempts, as you can see, just down there in that pilot light window, you'll have your pilot light lit. Once it has ignited, you'll need to continue to hold down the gas valve for a further 5-10 seconds. And in theory, once you've held it down for that long, just release the gas valve as I'm doing now. And that should stay lit, as you can see. To turn the gas supply back off, you spin the dial back to the off position. And then as you can see again, it will isolate the gas supply to the heater. On the left hand side top of the heater, you have your blown air control. So on this particular Caravan, you've got the little vents around the van, which work a bit like the heating in your car. You've got the dots in the centre here, which is like the vents that are pointing at you in your car, so it comes out the front of the heater. You then got your wave symbol here, which is continuous blown air. So essentially, it will continuously blow air around the Caravan from the vents that you see. Now, if you haven't got the heating on, it will work as a cool air fan as well. It is not air conditioning. You've then got your fan speed control on top between 1 and 5, so you can control the fan speed on this dial on top. On the right hand side here, you've then got automatic blown air. What this is essentially where it cuts in and out with the thermostat on board the Caravan, so it can be controlled by the thermostat on board the van rather than having it on continuously. And again, you can control the fan speed on this dial on top. Fridge is very simple to use. You've got either gas, so you put it to the gas option just here, pressing the temperature control. Let me try that again, pressing the temperature control, and once it ignites on gas, this little red line here will actually come up round into the green, as you can see. And very similar to this, so it's got a self-ignite on this particular one. And again, like you would with the heater, you're holding the gas valve for 5-10 seconds. It probably will go off when I release this button. after a few seconds, as you can see. Reignite it again. So like I said, you will need to hold that in for a fair while just to make sure it does ignite. 5 to 10 seconds is roughly where I'd advise to hold it in for. And again, you can slowly try and release the valve. As you can see this time, it has failed to ignite again on this occasion. It will come back up in a moment. There we go. So again, you'll hold that in. And then release the valve. Has actually gone off again. But when you're in here, have a go with that just so you can see how it works. If you want to run the fridge on 240 mains, you'll put the dial to the 240 mains option. And on gas or mains, you'll control the temperature of the fridge on this dial on the right hand side. You've then got the 12 volt mode. So the 12 volt mode is essentially a cool box as you are travelling down the road. So it'll allow you to use this fridge just to cool the beers off and the wine. So you select the 12 volt mode. Once you connect to the car, if you have the right connections on your car and it is turned onto the correct switch in that little cabinet down there, and like I said, it will work as a cool box and just be able to keep things cool as you're travelling down the road. To turn the fridge off, spin it back to the off position, just here. Microwave, hob, grill and oven. Obviously you've already seen the gas working on the hob. On the back of the hob you have a electric ring. Now the same as a microwave, this will only work if you're connected to mains power. It will not work off the 12 volt supply on board the Caravan. Now coming to the back of the Caravan, and the last thing we're going to go through is the toilet system itself. The toilet has a pump flush, so you pull it up and down, or pull it up, push it down to pump the toilet system, to flush it. You've got a toilet full indicator light here that illuminates red when the toilet waste cassette is completely full. The toilet seat itself actually turns for your convenience, as you can see here. However, when you're removing the toilet waste cassette from underneath the Caravan, you need to make sure this toilet is back in the central position. Then below the toilet you have your waste handle, which you need to have in the open position, so pulled towards us here, to allow the toilet waste into the cassette underneath the Caravan. When you're not using the toilet, have it back in the closed position, so it stops any smells coming up inside the van. And you'll also need to have it in the closed position when you try to remove the toilet waste cassette, as if you don't, you'll potentially break the toilet waste cassette itself. So this is the Swift Charisma 590. If you have any further questions on the Caravan, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate your business and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon. Thank you again. Bye bye.